ladies and gents, Romie Reviews here. Please like, comment, subscribe. Lord Jesus, these lights so bright. So I got to wear my spectacles because there was a lot of foolishness going on with this Basketball Wives reunion. This is season 7. 7 seasons. Technically this is episode 17, but this is the reunion, and thankfully they only gave us one part. We only have to deal with one part, and I say only have to deal with because it was I was trying to think, Lord, how are they gonna do 2 parts of this? But there was no need, especially with what happened with a particular person. Maybe that's why it was only 1 part. I don't know. I know as it starts off with, we do the usual, how does everyone look? I said, Jackie's doing a lot, but Jackie has had so much growth that I don't even care because Jackie is just beaming. So that's what we want to focus on. Of course, Malaysia looks good. I liked Tammy's suit. I liked, you know, I thought this was a good look for OG. I really did. Of course, Cece looked good. Evelyn, again, another suit because I like the braids. I still like the braids for Shawnee. I'm more so to find something nice to say about people than not, because I can be very pessimistic easily. Anyway, we're gonna start off with the Malaysia joke with, okay, we made sure that all the tables were glued down. Anyway, how does this really start off? Where's Jennifer? I think that's one of the main things. Where is Jennifer? Jennifer didn't show up because Jennifer didn't want any smoke. Apparently Jennifer went and had her lawyers reach out to the producers and let the producers know, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. Too bad. So sad. I feel like I'm going to be attacked. And Shawnee just feels like, I don't know. When someone doing this type of mess, I don't know what type of future employment lies. And right now, Jackie, being the peacemaker that she is, says, no, we need to reach out. Kristen, you have a number, right? Kristen, call you. I'm not calling you. Fine, I'll call you. Where's your phone? Girl, give me a phone. Gets her phone, calls Jennifer. Of course, it goes to voicemail. And so then Jackie says, you know what? You made a commitment. A lot of stuff happened this season. I think it'd be really dope if you were to go and come and we could just talk about this and squash this and let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. But we have to talk about something really important. The new ladies. A question was asked to Shawnee about how you feel about the new additions. She feels like Kristen really fit in. And I said, but was that a good thing? Was that a good thing? That's the optimal question. Cece definitely was overwhelmed. I agree with that. And and OG, she came off strong personality, so came off abrasive. I'm glad that Tammy again reiterated, look, I have to apologize to, if I'm apologizing to anyone, it's going to be to OG, because I did feel a certain way when Tammy was cool with OG one scene and then was pretty much saying some messed up stuff in the next, and she did talk to OG, so OG was like, look, from one moment to another, she appreciated that Tammy reached out to her beforehand and everything and said exactly what I saw that she did say, and I respect that, because, and I said, fine, cool, you don't need to make any more enemies out of people, so we're great with that. But we switch on to Malaysia versus OG situation, because think about it, Malaysia was throwing daggers, throwing stuff at OG, and OG was also throwing them right back. My thing is, OG's styles and looks were mocked this season, and it's not because it was African, it was just because of how it was put together. Let's just call it what it is. It's not because that it was African, it was about how it was put together. And OG, of course, defending herself, saying, hey, you know, I wear whatever I want to wear, and side boob and all. And Because Malaysia was like, look, leave the side boob at home. It's my boobs. I'm doing whatever I want with it. And so then Malaysia realized, oh, I know what she's trying to do. All right, yes, I'm for women empowerment too, because I see this is the road that we're going. And I also have the ability to say what I want to say, when I want to say it, how I want to say it. Now, this is the weird part about how Kristen being acclimated into the Jen, Evelyn, Shawnee group. Now, one of the weird things is how it was supposed to be mainly about Shawnee talking. It switched over to Kristen and OG having this conversation about, again, this is my overall interpretation to everything. So if you have a different opinion, feel free to say what your different opinion is. Don't come at me and say, oh, well, you talked about this, and it was just about, hey, I'm saying what I want to say when I want to say it. Get over it. Anyway, OG felt a certain, Kristen and OG do, they're two very different people. They are on opposite sides of the spectrum. Kristen talked about how, OG, you were up there, you were actually on that TV with a thong on, begging your boyfriend to marry you and put a baby in you. And OG was like, look, you're broke, you live in a small apartment with your husband and child, and that's the real reason why you're mad at me. I said, wait a minute, what does A have to do with B? What does A have to do with B? That's what I was trying to figure out the entire time, because, oh yeah, by the way, I'm still reviewing Empire. I'm still reviewing How to Get Away with Murder. So if you need to watch people, you need reviewers for those shows, I'm going to be your guy, aside from all the other people, but remember me as well. Thank you. Now, yes, of course OG wants a husband. Of course Kristen wants another baby. So them throwing that stuff, it's just facts being thrown at each other. The problem is that they don't like each other, so it's going to be digs. Kristen's husband just doesn't want another baby at this time. That's not the same thing as he doesn't want to have another baby with his wife, period. And OG has to decide if Kwame is the dude for her. I don't know why they have this disdain for each other. I understand it's the reunion, so now's the time to go and defend yourself. But it was doing too much, and I was tired of it, and I was over it. But we do talk about important things, like we talk about how Malaysia, she conquered her fear with the police officer, inviting him onto the show and trying to help bridge that huge gap that we seem to have as far as how we feel about law enforcement, especially in Black and brown communities. So yes, we clap for that. We clap for Jackie going to therapy and it was working. We clap and praise for that. We show our condolences and love and support for OG, because OG also had to deal with a lot with her brother dying during the season of the show taping, and that was really heavy for her. And it was good that she had support, and she did acknowledge that even though her and Kristen, they're not besties, Kristen did show her support, and it was very much so appreciated, which is wonderful. It's wonderful. Evelyn, again, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Even though Jackie is cool with Tammy, the fact that Jackie has been consistent with her change and even just showing support for Evelyn, of course Evelyn's gonna ride and be thankful for that. No, she doesn't want to have smoke with everyone on the show. Let's use logic a little bit. Let's use some logic. And that's the weird thing with Evelyn and Tammy. This consistent back and forth with these two ladies, it's so tiring, it's so old. The worst part is we're all looking at this and trying to figure out, why is this still a thing? Why is this still a thing? Why is this still a... And we find out that Evelyn felt a certain way when Tammy, so after they were cool, there was a situation where Tammy Dang. What did Tammy even say? What did Tammy even say? Oh, a question was answered. Everything was fine. Yep, yeah. Right. Okay. What was the comment between? Okay, that's where we are. The comment with Evelyn discussed the GoFundMe page and when she went and showed support to it, and then the whole thing with Jackie. So again, it's just that constant ebb and flow of messiness that Evelyn is trying to go and say that Tammy has been consistently doing throughout their dealings with each other, and it's unfair, it's unfounded. I'm looking at this like, here's the truth of the matter. Tammy and yourself aren't friends. The two of you aren't friends. I don't know why you thought differently. Tammy never thought differently. And so Tammy, she did what she did because this is Tammy Roman, and Tammy Roman has had issues with these ladies for so long that I think that she is just at the point where she doesn't give up lead. I really think that's where she's at. Just like with the whole Jennifer thing.
Remember to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe and come back.
I do agree with the timelines with even Jennifer, it doesn't make sense. If you're on this spiritual journey, spiritual retreat, I understand putting stuff out there, maybe at the time, for whatever reason, you just kept it in your pocket, but to bring it back out now in that type of form, in that type of setting, one can say, well, Evelyn could defend herself that way. Another person, like a lot of us, could say, no, it was being messy just to see how Evelyn would respond. And let's be clear, Tammy is not friends with Evelyn, so why would she care about Evelyn's overall well-being? I think that's the biggest problem that I'm having with some people. Some people really think that they have the comical section where Jackie is talking about Malaysia always being down for whatever Jackie wants to do, which is not true. Jackie constantly goes and does stuff, and Malaysia's just there like, what? We're doing what? We talk about Shawnee's weed business and how her son is going to be a part of that, partially running things. I said that actually makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. It was just the comedic section, because now we're getting to the crux, the Cece versus Kristen saga. And here's how this whole thing's gonna go. I'm gonna sum this up quickly. Kristen feels hurt and offended because for 4 years they were actually cool. There was minimal to no issues with their relationship. They get on the show, and now we have a situation where Evelyn and Jennifer made a comment regarding Cece, and Cece was upset. So the way how Cece handled it was talk up behind people's backs, put the battery in Kristen's back, and even blame Kristen. And so Cece is saying, hey, everything that she said was correct except for that last part regarding her having my back. And tell me the full information. Cece didn't realize that Kristen was more familiar with a reunion, how reunions are supposed to go. So she printed out the text messages. I said, y'all not friends. Y'all not even family either. This is some other mess at this point. She's reading the text messages, and the texter essentially saying and explaining how, without a shadow of a doubt, I told you that this is what was said. This is what was said. I told you. Stop telling people that I did not tell you that that's what they said. Cece is saying, I know, look, yes, yeah, whatever. My issue with you is the fact that you decided to be in the room with them and not stand up for me, and you just giggled, you just laughed. I said, that's fair. That's fair. But that's different than saying that she didn't tell you. That's the problem with Cece. I don't think Cece should come back on the show because this type of show doesn't work for Cece. Cece seems like a good, decent person who isn't used to having to defend herself in this way, shape, or fashion. And that's my problem. So now we get to this whole thing of who really wanted that message regarding don't come for Father's Day, don't come for anything, don't come to this, don't come to that. Was it Byron or was it Cece? We find out because Kristen was, now this is the part where I said, dang, Cece, really? Byron did not tell Cece to go and put out that message. Cece put out that message because she does go and let Kristen know, hey, here's what's going on, because they were friends, which is great. The problem is, Cece made it seem like she was doing this on the behalf of Byron. On the behalf of Byron. But that, wow. But that was not the case. That was not the case. She put it out herself on her own volition because she thought, hey, let me jump in front of this issue. But it did not help, and it came off as very messy. And that's why I now understand why Kristen was frustrated, because with Cece, sometimes it's like pulling teeth to get to, the end of the rainbow. To get to the end of the rainbow. So I understand that now. Now here we go with the Evelyn versus Tammy. Now we get, so here's the issue here. Evelyn's trying to say that you and Jennifer orchestrated this whole thing. Jennifer clearly wasn't going to go and bring this up. You brought this up, you brought this up because you wanted to start mess. Tammy does apologize again for the domestic violence comments. She does apologize for that. Evelyn hears it and essentially says, look, it's all bull. And then Tammy goes and says, you know what's bull? The fact that you come on here and saying that you're real, but you're not. How dare you go and decide for yourself that you're going to reach out to business contacts and try to say that you shouldn't be working with this person because she says this and that. And I said, oh, Evelyn. Evelyn from the block? From New York? You did what? To who? Really? And Evelyn said it was one email and I just said my opinion. I just talked about myself. If any business got messed up with you, it wasn't because I was intentionally trying to take money out of your bag. I wasn't trying to lighten up your bag. That's not what I was trying to do. I was just speaking my piece because I was going through my things, going through my in vitros, and then it gets personal about how, oh, Tammy, she told me that she can't have kids, so she's the one that's a liar. And Tammy's like, you know what, why don't you go and worry about, you producing eggs and all this. I said, are these two grown women having an argument about eggs? And here goes Shawnee, to the side when they're both trying to tag her in, and like, But I think that's why Tammy left. I think Tammy got up and left because it just got too much. It got to the point where Tammy probably realized, I'm gonna say something that's gonna mess up real things that have going on in my life, so I'm going to exit stage left. And because Shawnee wasn't backing her up, Evelyn was saying, you're back on this show, and your whole goal is just to get another show. And it's like, yes, I got into the show, praise God. You had to come on here because X, Y, and Z. It was a lot. They do not like each other. It's very draining. So that's when Tammy gets up and leave, and the producers were saying, there's a whole segment based around you. What are you doing? And she decided to leave. She said, I don't care. I am going. And she left. And I was fine with it because I felt the conversation wasn't going anywhere. So then they had to halt production and they had to take a beat and they started over again. So now Shawnee, now that Tammy is gone, says that I felt like Tammy, her agenda was different this season, that she wasn't participating that much. So I'm not surprised that she eventually went and left. And now everyone's irked because the two people who the show was going to be based around, and that's probably the reason why there wasn't a part 2, because Jennifer didn't show up and now Tammy left. So there's no more material. There's no more material. So now they have to move forward to the Amsterdam fight, and that Malaysia quickly said she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed because she's not trying to show her kids that that's the way to act or behave. So she felt bad because of that. Not because of Jennifer, but just because of her own personal actions. And I said, you know what, Malaysia? Growth. I respect it. It is growth. It's growth. You had to slip up, but now you know that I'm not rocking that feeling. I'm not rocking. I don't like how all of that happened, so let me move forward. So now Shawnee, it's the end of the show, and Shawnee does her usual, okay, so Jennifer didn't show up to work. Jennifer basically didn't show up to work. She didn't want to participate. I don't know what that means. I mean, what does that normally mean for someone who does that in a regular job? I said, okay, Jennifer's not coming back. We got it. Now, is Tammy coming back? I don't know. Tammy seemed MIA, so she seemed like she didn't want to come back either. We talk about Jackie's growth, and we laud that. Shout out to Malaysia. The newbies didn't get to talk. The newbies didn't get to talk. And then it gets to Evelyn. And Evelyn was saying, you know what? I came back here because I wanted to, show my truth. And then she spends the next minute and a half talking about Tammy and how, but Tammy, on the other hand, wanted to go and spread lies and didn't want to really go and divulge anything about her life. And I'm thinking, yeah, Tammy did it the smart way. So that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Remember to watch my Insecure review. Remember to watch my Married to Medicine review, American Horror Story, Greenleaf. Jesus, I'm tired. I'm already tired thinking about all of that. Haves and have-nots, which this week it won't be on. When the Empire comes back, How to Get Away with Murder. I need a break, but YouTube does not allow that.